Well, I decided to jig this up and check for sure before I go and move this wheel. So anyway, these triple clamps are perfectly straight. I had absolutely no trouble pushing the tube right up in through on both, and they're not even tight, and they're perfectly straight. So anyway, this is the wheel that I had done no tire. And I put it on, and as you can see, it's dead center. It's not the wheel wobbling, it's me wobbling. But anyway, it's pretty much dead center. So I maybe it's that one wheel I might have got off. So most of these fork tubes, half them are bent, and when the fork tubes are bent, that means the triple clamps are twisted. On this bike, I had quite a time getting the fork tubes up in. They didn't go up in good. I had to hammer a screwdriver in here and hit the bottom of that with the rubber mallet to drive it up in. Like once it went up in until it hit the second one, and they're a little bit out of whack. Should have replaced them. It might be all right if I pull it hard. If I have a hand, somebody else, pull it hard and then tighten all the nuts, all the bolts on everything. It might work against itself, or work with itself to counterbalance. Because it's sort of like when you straighten something, you have to bend it quite far past for it to come back to be straight. So if I twist it against its crookedness, then tighten all the bolts where there's 2 bolts on each one, and it's quite a heavy duty arrangement. Oh, kitty. It should almost hold it square, even though it isn't square, because all the bolts being tightened will kind of offset each other in a way to hold it out a square to make it straight, if you can follow me. It may not work. I may end up having to change the triple clamps or straighten them. So anyway, when I measure this, I wasn't 1/8 of an inch off. I was only 1/16 of an inch off, which is darn close to 3/4 of an inch. It's a little awkward right now for me to put this, but when I measure right here, it is this wheel is exactly 1/16 of an inch off from, just a smidgen over 1/16 of an inch off from 3/4. And I may have got this wheel a little more than 3/4. So this wheel may have been off a little bit, but I loosened all these spokes on that side and tightened all these and did it a few times, and I put this little wire in there. Anyway, I moved it over, and the tire's in the center. I didn't take it off, and where the spokes don't stick through the nuts. Like, this is a used wheel with a couple little dents in it. But anyway, there it is. But these triple clamps are a little bit twisted, and I loosened off all the bolts here and up in there and come on to it as hard as, like, with my limited strength here, pulled it and then tightened everything. And it could be a little bit more pulled, Or maybe I should take it all back apart and take these off and put the ones that are on that one back there on, because they're perfectly straight. But most of them are a little bit bent, because anytime you bend the forks, these are always a little bit twisted. But anyway, for now, that turned out good. That was actually very easy. To start off with, I turned each one like 2/4 turns, starting like at this part and going all the way around. And then I tightened these like 1.5 quarter turns, and then went from there and did a couple more times, and actually just by moving like eighth of a turn, like no more 2/4 turns, just a little bit of a turn. And then I trued a little bit, and anyway, it might be fine. But where this is so thick going through here and double bolted, my theory is if I had someone here that could loosen everything off again, pull the handlebars so that everything's twisted, then I tighten everything in that twisted mode, it'll tighten in such a way that it might hold it out of square, which puts the fork straight. But I could be wrong, because there is a little bit of mystery going on here, and those are twisted, but that doesn't affect the forks going down. This fork is supposed to float a little bit because the axle holds this in the bushing kind of arrangement. This floats, and then you tighten this wherever, because that does not hit this. That just floats because the axle hits this. But anyway, I'll be back a little bit later. Yeah, the cat, well, he'll be going back to sleep here shortly. See you later for now.